So there goes the van out here at a campground chilling. Uh, Not where I'm supposed to be. I'm on Lake Lanier. If you know the history of Lake Lanier, you know the history. If not, look it up. But I just wanted to show y'all. I'm just able to chill out here by myself. Feet propped up on a log that's in the water. Just out here chilling, enjoying life. But I wanted to come on here and do a video. So all my videos on my channel so far have been basically gun content, and it's supposed to be some RV van life content. So let's see it. See it? All right. So I wanted to get on here and talk about why did I choose van life. And so you guys excuse me, there's bugs out here. So at the time, it was me and my girlfriend, and I was out the military. I had finished school. I didn't know what was next for me. And she had just graduated with her master's from nursing school. She started doing nursing, working in a burn unit. And then, of course, COVID was going on still. So all these travel assignments were going out. So she decided that she wanted to travel. So I would travel with her. I didn't have anything else going on at the time. So I was trying to dabble in the photography, which was hit or miss. So we were going to California and stuff, and we was just chilling out there for months. Like, we had got an apartment together, and we were in the apartment, maybe 3 months out the whole year. So paying for rent in Georgia, and then paying for whatever rent that we were at in California, or where we're at the travel assignments at. And so she came up with the idea about van life. Well, not necessarily van life, but living in an RV, because one of her coworkers was living in an RV. He was in, I think, a Class A or Class C. So she talked to me about it, and at first I was like, I don't know. But then we were in San Diego staying in a small studio apartment with just the suitcases we brought with us for like 3 months straight. I think it was 2 or 3 months straight. And then I was realizing that all the stuff that I had, I didn't have to have. So then we started really going to places, looking at stuff, determining if we could downsize, what it would look like, and was it worth it. So at first we were looking at buying something cheap and remodeling it, but that was too much work at the time. My house was being rented out, so we really didn't have a place to remodel at. And then the cost of having somebody to remodel it, which would have been cheaper than buying one outright, is harder to finance. So we started looking at already made, from regular manufacturers, Winnebago, Thor, the list goes on. And so we were going with a Class C because we needed the space. We had looked at Class Bs at first and was like, nah, we're not doing that. It's too small. Like, we're trying to be minimalist, but at the same time, we still have our wants and needs. I still have photography. I still had tech stuff, gaming, stuff like that. So we had ruled out Class A's, too big, plus some of them required you to have a specialized license because of having the extra wheels in the back, the fifth wheel, I think that's what it is. So we went back to Class C's. And Class C's, you have Class C's, and then you have, we'll say, Ultra Class C's. They're even bigger, almost the size of Class A's. They're so big. So we started test driving those, and every single one of them felt like driving a U-Haul truck. And if any of y'all drove a U-Haul truck, not in city, but I'm talking about from state to state. I drove a U-Haul truck from South Dakota to Virginia. I drove one from Georgia to Washington, D.C. I drove one from Virginia to Atlanta, Georgia. It's not a fun drive at all. And even though these vehicles have a little bit more amenities and stuff like that, it still is not a fun ride at all. So we started thinking about doing a class B and doing the research on that. And I was heavy in it. I was spending about anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a day researching. Like before I went to bed every night, I would put in another extra 2 hours of researching vans. And of course, we're looking at Mercedes, but Mercedes, the chassis was expensive. At the time, Ford Transit was coming, but it wasn't popular like it is right now. And then Ram ProMaster. So the discussion always was, yeah, we want to make this decision, but can we actually do it? And so that's why we went the cheaper route. So we finally decided on the Winnebago Solus 159 PX, which is the extended 159 wheelbase. The price of it at the time, I think it was listed like 110,000. But when you buy, when you get into this market, people don't tell you is when you buy from a manufacturer, you can finance it. It's like in between a house and a vehicle. So instead of a 30-year loan for a home, you can do like a 20-year loan on a RV. And cars you can only do like 6 years. I think they're up to 7 years now, which is crazy because they're so expensive. Inflation's a bitch. But yeah, so financing 100,000, over that amount of time isn't that bad at all. The other thing they don't let you know is that RV loans, no matter how good your credit is, no matter how much you make, it's not necessarily guaranteed you're going to get it because RVs are not a necessity, they're a nicety. So when you buy from these other manufacturers who aren't well known and they're not using actual RVs or actual vans, passenger vans, chassis that are actually earmarked as an RV, you can only finance the vehicle, and then you have to finance the labor and parts separately. They don't tell you that, so you're trying to get two loans: a personal loan and then a vehicle loan. I say that to say this. So that was just too much to deal with at the time, so we decided to just go with RV. That's why we went to Winnebago PX, and we started living that life. Well, I started living that life. We got a dog. She started travel nursing still. So it was mainly me living in it, getting it set up, adding the TV, was adding solar panels, trying to learn the van itself. And it turned out to be a great experience. It was freeing. I went to go visit my brother in Louisiana. I stayed there for like a month or two. We was hitting up the gym all the time. It was good. And I would go to Houston to go see her because she had a nursing gig there. And I was enjoying the life. But, it has its challenges as well. In that small space for two people, me and her at the time, we were good apart because we needed our space. Like I'm a loner, she's a loner. So when we get together, we do good together, but we only do good for so long. And then we had to kind of go our separate ways. It's like phone calls. We'd talk to each other every day. And then we'd have every month or 2 months, we'd go like a couple days without talking at all because we needed that space. Like we were, I wouldn't say getting on our nerves, but we were just to that point where it was like, okay, do you, I do me. And not like that, but just like, we never restricted each other, but we were always around each other. So fast forward a little bit, she decides she can't do van life anymore. That isn't her cup of tea. And for me, I decided I loved it. The perks of van life, for one, if you get rid of your place, which I sold my house, and of course we got out of the apartment, is it's cheaper. You pay whatever that is. So instead of having a vehicle payment, a house payment, and then you travel somewhere and you got to pay for a hotel and everything else, it's all encompassed in the one thing. So that's a plus of it. Now the negative is that's your home. That's everything in there. So if it ever got, issues with it, say, you know, the engine, transmission, whatever, that's your house. So now you got to find somewhere else to stay. Yeah. But you start learning the little nuances, your batteries, even though you have lithium batteries and they charge through solar, sometimes they drain. Or if you have regular AGM batteries, cold weather, how to affect stuff. Having to connect the shore power every once in a while to recharge your batteries to get them fully charged up. Water, where you can get water at, where you can't get water from. How long water can sit before it starts, getting dirty. How to sanitize your tanks, where you can dump your black tank, or we have a cassette toilet. That's a whole nother thing that I can get into later. Where you can dump your gray tank. If you have a gray tank, that's separate. So there's a lot to the life itself, but it's a amazing life for some. Some people could not live this life. Some people would love this life. Some people, this life is too much for them. Some people are so minimalist, but I just want to start having those conversations about van life, the lifestyle, including you guys in that. This channel isn't just guns. It's more about being free, spending 20 years in the military. I know I don't look it, I'm looking good, but 20 years in the military, tours to Iraq, it puts a strain on you. All the moving the military forces you to do, especially like a lot of us joined right after high school. So you never truly learned who you are. You learned what you are in school with classmates and friends, but you never really learned who you are on your own. And then when you join the military, you start shaping, they start shaping and molding you into something, but they shape you and mold you into something that is conducive to them, because you can't get away from that. So you have to learn to be out once you finally get out. And for some people it's an easier transition. You spend 4 years, 6 years in, but when you spend 20 years in, and that's your life for 20 years, it's hard to acclimate to the outside. You start dealing with things like anxiety and depression. You get used to them. Early mornings, PT every day. That's one thing. If I don't go to the gym almost every day or work out, I feel like these bugs is too much. I feel like I don't like I'm not sane. Like it affects my mental. So you cling on to the things you can cling on to, and you could work. You could get a contracted gig or become a GS employee, but most of the time you get out the military, so you don't have to be in the military anymore. You don't want to still deal with that going on base, reveille playing, the end of the day national anthem going off and having to stop and wait in line until it ends, and uniforms and people not following standards, and there's just so much to it that you don't realize it stresses you until you get out and you're able to decompress some. And even though you have new stressors, those stressors are gone and you didn't realize how focused it was. Like, you wanted to be perfect so bad, and you wanted everybody else to be perfect so bad, that you literally would walk around looking at people to see if they were perfect. Did they have a string on their collar? Were they not fully clean shaven? Were their hat worn correctly? Was their ponytail in the correct bun? Were their nails in the right length, the right color? No piercings, tattoos. Like, you would literally have to look at people and judge them as a supervisor before you even had a real conversation with them. And then even then, it was military, it was mission focused. Like, there wasn't a lot of people you actually cared about unless you hung out with them outside of work. So I needed, and I still need, time to figure me out. Where do I want to live? Is it Georgia? Probably not. Florida? No, Ron DeSantis there. Texas? No, Greg Abbott there. Arizona? I mean, I don't know, but I need to find me what I'm passionate about. I thought it was photography and cinematography, but it's turning out that it's not. Do I want to? I don't know. But van life has given me the freedom to explore, to meet new people, to travel to these towns. I went to school for political science degree, bachelor's of science in political science, I guess. I want to run for public office one day, maybe run for president of the United States. Anyway, um, affect change for everybody, not just myself, for people that look like me, but for everybody that is underserved. And if you go to any of these cities, these small towns with these businesses that are closed that will never reopen, these houses that are run down, that they'll never get the government assistance they need to fix them, and most of the times the banks won't give them loans to do repairs. If you go to these big cities where all these people are homeless and forgotten, living on the street, using the bathroom on the street, picking food out of the garbage can, some of them for mental health issues, some of them because life was so fucked up, the veterans, so much. So I want to affect change for all those people. Whether you're in a small town in West Virginia or you're in a big city in Baltimore, Maryland. But I've been so disgusted and turned off by it that I don't even know if I want to do that anymore. So this is giving me the opportunity to chill, but also still get out. Go to places like Maine and Vermont, places I never thought I would go. Meet people and talk to them and realize that we are all human beings. There's only one race, the human race. And we all bleed red. And we all have a lot more in common than they lead us to believe. So just wanted to say that real quick while I was here. Hope y'all enjoy the video. I think I'm gonna start doing mental health stuff, but I'm gonna do that on my other channel, Unapologetically Confused. But that channel right there is gonna be talking politics and a whole bunch of stuff. I just gotta get focused on doing it on a regular basis. This is gonna focus on guns, van life, and my dog. No politics, none of that stuff. Leave it like that. The other channel is going to be, hey, what's going on in the world, how I feel about things, how that's going to run. But yeah, go ahead and I think the like button's down there. If you like it, hit the like button twice. No, hit the like button once. And if you don't like it, hit the dislike button twice. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed it. The next video will either be a gun video or a van video. I need to clean out my van. It is filthy. But I will get at y'all soon. I appreciate it. And make sure, how does it go? Appreciate yourself. Appreciate those you love. Appreciate those who love you. And I will see you next time. Peace.